Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of the Culture Controversial Podcast. I'm your host, Simply Nicholas87, and my co-host, Ty H.
Happy Wednesday, people.
Happy Wednesday, man. Hey, to all the new people that subscribe to the channel, y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, the people that are subscribed, hit that notification bell, man. Let you know when we're going live. Keep us up there. I know y'all used to seeing us on Thursday, but due to inclement weather coming our way, they moved all North Carolina varsity games, and I think South Carolina's as well up to Thursdays. JV's playing currently right now. I don't know the score of that game, but they moved everything up a day for each classification. So
Yep.
we're here to preview and recap last week's homecoming. Tonight, I'm gonna start off. I'll say this. It was a good turnout. I give you that. And I like the crowd, the level of people that were there, the whole festival things that's going on. But what I didn't like is with how we just self-destructing. Right there, you go. How we self-destructing in front of our eyes before conference play starts tomorrow, a day early. More than early than expected. More than nature pushed that up for you. So now I would say this: your back's against the wall. What are you gonna do? But I'll let you break down what you seen Thursday. Friday. Sorry, last Friday, and tell me what you thought.
I saw a football team that had talent and that beat themselves. As far as what I saw, the game got off to a good start. Forced a turnover on Pageman's opening drive. We got the ball, took a shot downfield, scored on first play for scrimmage for a touchdown. Looked like everything was going well. I love that aggression.
Yeah.
The defense played a great game the entire game. Defense did their job. What bothered me is offensively how conservative we got and how sloppy we got. It seems like this team is falling apart right before our eyes. And the watch the poor offensive execution. And what bothers me, just like the previous week, I believe we outgained our opponent in total yardage. We marched up and down the field, but only had one score to show for it. We even forced 3 turnovers.
Yep.
And got the ball in near the red zone or in the red zone most times and just found ways not to score. It's almost like we were looking for ways to give the game away. The turning point of the game, of course, was in the fourth quarter. We had forced a turnover, got the ball around the 25 on the plus 25-yard line, just 5 yards out the red zone. May have been at the red zone, close to it. And we're gonna throw an interception that gets a return all the way down to the 2-yard line and then subsequently punched in for a touchdown. That did us in. We got the ball back several times again and just found ways, whether it was an untimely penalty, whether it was bad play calling or our red zone play calling has been god awful. I want to make that clear. When we get the ball in plus, not even just the red zone, when we get the ball in plus territory, when we get on the other side of the 50 and get down to around the 25-yard line from the 30 on in, even when the north-south running game was working, Kendrick May had a good rhythm. They were running him well. And for whatever reason, we decided that we want to start running east and west and going lateral and doing nonsensical things. I don't understand it. With our passing attack, we're trying to dink and dunk, and what's happening is defense is sitting in on that. And when the QB is staring receivers down, they're just waiting for them, and they're just jumping those routes, or at least breaking them up. In this case, one got jumped, which cost us the game. What's bothering me about that is you've had success throwing it downfield. Your QB has shown the ability to throw the ball downfield. You have the receivers who are able to stretch the defense, but it seems like for whatever reason, there's been some nonsensical play calling, especially when you get down in the red zone, near the red zone, and I just don't understand it. It seemed like from an offensive play calling standpoint, going down the stretch of that game, it seemed like whatever made sense or whatever was working, when they get in scoring territory, they would just go away from it for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. You put your defense in a bind. Your defense did their job. And you put them in a bind, and your offense was just anemic. And I don't understand. You're turning the ball over way too much the last 2 weeks. All the things that we said you couldn't do, you're doing, and it's so unnecessary. We had the deeper team, the better athletes the last 2 weeks.
Yo, JB, what's going on, man? Salutes to you.
Hey, JB. But you had the better athletes the last 2 weeks. You should be 5-1 right now. There's no reason you should be 3-3.
No, not at all.
And the thing about it, this reminds me of 2018 when we were 3-2, then fell apart, lost 4 of the last 5 games or whatever, something like that. So under this regime, we've seen this team, not these particular players, but we've seen this program fall apart. Yes, sir. We're talking about high school ball. We're gonna get into some other stuff too, but we're starting off with high school ball. We've seen this team fall apart. Not this particular group of guys, but we've seen this program under the current regime fall apart like this before. So it's reminiscent of something I've seen before. Again, this team is not getting adequate coaching, and this is not a shot at Ralph, because everybody know that I'm a big Ralph Jackson fan. This is not a shot at him. Nevertheless, when you don't have a staff, I'm beating the dead horse. I say this every week. When you only got a skeleton of a staff, you do not have enough coaches to adequately coach these kids. So now you got one guy trying to handle multiple position groups across the board. And on Friday nights, it shows. Now you got to match up against a Monroe team who's very well coached by Coach Johnny Sowell, very well organized. Coach Sowell is a state championship winning coach. Not only is he just a great coach when it comes to sports in general, he's a state championship football winning head coach and a state championship basketball winning head coach. I don't know if that's been done anywhere else, but I know that's rare. That's a rare air. If you want to think about
it is.
And he's going to have his guys ready. Monroe lost last week to Porter Ridge, so you know there's going to be a focus there. As far as the matchup against Monroe has some great athletes. The thing about it, athlete for athlete, we have the athletes to match up against Monroe.
We do.
We can match their speed. We can match their athleticism. We have the guys who can play with them.
North Carolina, JB.
My biggest concern is the lack of discipline. Are we going to continue to get pre-snap penalties? Are we going to continue to have bad QB center exchanges? Are we going to continue to have untimely drops? Are we going to continue to have untimely interceptions? Are we going to continue to have untimely fumbles? Are we going to continue to have bad red zone play calling, bad play calling on the plus side of the field? Are we going to continue to have those things? Because if we do, we can get run out the stadium. But if we play up to our capabilities and play a clean game, we can hang in there and have a shot at that game. Because they're not superior to us athletically. They're just, I hate to say it like this, they're the smarter team. And this is not a knock on anyone, they're the better coach team. I mean, that's evident. And that's where we're going to have our challenge tomorrow. The thing is, sometimes Anson plays better against better teams than they do against teams who we look at as lesser. Because sometimes I think their focus is higher when it comes to a stronger team, whereas Anson has shown the propensity to play down to the level of his competition. And all the last 3 weeks they've done that, and 2 of those times it's cost us.
Yep.
We're not fortunate, and we snuck by Albemarle.
Yeah.
But the game management has been really, really bad because I know Anson has a lot of sophomores, but we have way too much talent to have lost the last 2 games. And those losses primarily have been on game management. There have been poorly managed games. We have excellent athletes who are not being managed properly and who are not being used to the best of their ability and not necessarily being put in position to succeed. And the good thing about it, all that was non-conference. We got our non-conference 3-3. In 2019, we got our non-conference 3-3 and went 4-0 with 73. So that doesn't mean that it's all gloom and doom. Yep. But at this point, whatever your bad habits are, it's time to rectify them. We talked about this last week. When you're playing lesser opponents and you formulate bad habits, what happens when you play against a strong team? Your first instinct is going to be your bad habits. Mm-hmm. And going into tomorrow's game, your first instinct better not be your bad habits, or you'll get run off the field. One thing I like, they play on that turf field out there. So we're an athletic team. I think our guys will enjoy running on that turf, but at the end of the day, you still got to execute. You still have to make catches when you're open. You have to block. You can't get untimely penalties. You can't have special teams gaffes. You can't have any of that stuff. If you have any of that stuff, you will get blown out so fast the game will be over at the end of the first quarter. And I don't want to see the team quit if they face adversity. I remember last year at Forest Hills, they faced adversity early on and they quit on their coach. They did the same thing as Monroe last year too. So also the Monroe starting quarterback is a former Anson player, former Anson student, former Anson resident. I have wish nothing but great things for the kid. I wish the kid all the luck in the world except for tomorrow night. I want the kid to have a successful career, successful life, and I want the kid to do well. But I do not want him to be successful against his former team tomorrow. And a word on the street is that the young man is adamant about having a great game against Anson and about beating Anson.
Blackout Customs in the building. Shout out to Blackout. What's going on, brother?
And what I want the young man to understand, it's not him versus Anson. It's Monroe versus Anson. If he tries to turn that into a him versus Anson game, I want Anson to be able to take advantage of that unchanneled emotion. Because if he's off his game and coming in with a personal vendetta, that's to Anson's advantage. But Anson has to be smart, focus, play a clean game, and you can play with anyone, and you can potentially win that game tomorrow.
Potentially,
but will they do it? That's to be determined.
That's to be determined.
I hate to say this, and I don't bet on games anyway, but if I was a gambling man, I wouldn't put our money on this because we haven't shown enough for anyone to trust us well enough to do that.
I agree. I'm taking off what you said as far as the bad habits. It started, well, if I could pinpoint it where it actually started, I'm not gonna count the Piedmont game because they actually came back and played good in the second half. But when you start with the Almar game, that's when the destruction started to come down the hill, right there at the second half. From that point on to now, that's where everything went bad at the second half of that game. That showed from third quarter to the fourth quarter of last week. That's what this team has been that whole game. Well, those last three games, I say. And personally, it's non-conference. I get it, but most teams in those situations want to be tuned, get the tweaks out in those first 6 games going into regional conference play. They want to get those tweaks fixed. Like, this is the time. That was the time to go ahead and fix your incorrects and clean up everything that need to be cleaned up in that time. But it's like right now, there's nothing being cleaned. There's more mess being thrown on the floor than it is being cleaned up.
Yep.
So what I'm taking from it is, like you said, tomorrow they do play good when they're up under a better opponent. They play like there's no tomorrow. But it's like you said, when they play down to the level of competition, they play like they're just not there. So tomorrow, if they come out, they play, like you said, play a clean game, make those big plays, get some yardage, catch your passes, make some good runs. Don't run east and west, north and south. Well, tomorrow you got to run. Well, you run north and south tomorrow because I think north and south. Run north and south. Don't bounce east. You do good when you run north and south. You get a chunk of yards, like with May in the backfield. You picking up 6 to 7 yards per carry with him, with the speed. But if you start bouncing it outside, running 15 yards towards the out of bound marker, you're only picking up a yard. Those are like dead plays to me, man. Basically, like, I feel like those considerably are like incomplete passes in my book. If you get to the line of scrimmage, yeah. So run north and south. Like if you gash the whole, I feel like if they run like they've been running with May, just take it up the good, they could possibly make something out of this game.
What bothered me, Nick, is like I've seen like times where May or whoever would get a 10-yard gain, get the ball down to the 25-yard line, and then the next play they run like a little end around or something and lose 4 yards. I'm like, why?
Don't do that. Stick to what you've been sticking to. Then
I'm gonna tell you what really epitomizes everything that went on last week. I'm not going to call any kid's name or number in this.
Right.
But there was a play where it was a trick play where the QB tossed it to his mate in the backfield for like a halfback option pass.
Yeah.
Had a receiver wide open, and the receiver quit on the play before he could even come out of his break. I don't know if he thought he got grabbed or whatever, but he came out of his break holding his hands up as if he was maybe looking for a call or something, and just stopped running. And the thing about it, had he just kept running, that'd have been a wide open touchdown. And he actually stopped running and held his hands up as if he was looking for a call or if there was some confusion, and didn't even make an effort to try to run that ball down when he could have easily had a wide open touchdown. But it's almost like he wasn't looking for the ball to come his way, or to me, he just gave up on the play. I mean, as soon as he came out of his break. And we ended up not even scoring on that series. I don't know if that's when the interception came or what, but I know we came away with 0 points on that in that sequence. You can't have that. And here's what bothered me the most. After that happened, that receiver remained in the game, and I didn't see any coaches, whatever, even talking to him after that play. After it appeared he quit on that play, I didn't see anybody talking to him. I didn't see him get pulled from the game immediately after. It was like he went right in there for the next play as if nothing, and kept going as if nothing happened. You can't have that.
Nah, you can't have that, man. And another thing that I'm gonna emphasize too is you got to be careful on those plays that I've been noticing it all season. I'm pretty sure you have too. When they coming out in the spread, and the quarterback tends to lean before the ball
they
snaps.
get false starts, but I don't want to say it too much.
Yeah,
we've been getting away with false starts because we've been leaning before every snap. Yeah, I'm glad they haven't called it, and I hope none of the officials are watching this television.
Yeah, so though I said you got to be careful because there's gonna be a game where you may play an official that sees those ticky-tack things and he wants to call it. You're predictable on that situation anyway. You shouldn't even be doing that. The teams basically they look at good team looks at things like this.
Our offense is predictable anyway because you can predict our offense by our personnel grouping. Our personnel grouping tells you exactly what we're going to run.
Yep.
Number one, we play musical chairs as a quarterback. So and the thing,
I ain't figured that one out yet either. I'm not even gonna get into that.
Right. And I'm whichever one you use, fine. But I'm saying, but when you switch them in and out, I also know that we even rotate offensive linemen. And you can't build continuity that way either. I don't understand that one.
I don't know, but like I said, man,
me and Sam and I were talking about it because Sam asked me why they're rotating offensive linemen. I was like, I have no idea.
I've never seen it. Defensive, yeah, they rotate.
Yeah, people rotate defensive linemen all the
time. Yeah, but offensive linemen, no. That's continuity. You got to build off of that. That's your bread and butter. You can't put a left tackle that don't play much. Then you got to start in left tackle, then put your left tackle that don't play that much. You gonna lose that.
But something else about me. If you got one particular quarterback who you know is a runner, which I'm not knocking, he's a good athlete.
Yeah.
But every time you have him in there, it's a QB power. Every time you put him in the shotgun, everybody knows that's what you're going to run. You're cutting the field in half basically because you're projecting, you're telegraphing what you're going to do. Something else I'm getting sick and tired of: us struggling to get the right personnel on the field. You notice as the play clock is winding down, the 11th man is running out on the field at the last second. I'm like, this is like the 6th game of the season.
That should be fixed. That should be
happening this the season where you're struggling to run personnel on and off field. Like every time you substitute, like you're not even getting enough men on the field. At the very last second, or like 8 seconds left on the play clock, the 11th man is. Or I'm exaggerating a little bit, but my point is, when late after the huddle's already broken, and then you're running the 11th man on there, or you're struggling trying to get the right people on there, you're trying to figure out who's supposed to come off and who's supposed to come on. When you shouldn't be having trouble trying to get your personnel groupings on the field this deep into the season.
And you know what?
You're past the halfway point of the season.
That comes from lack of communication from coaches to players.
Right, because every week though, it's like at the last second you see a guy running onto the field, or you see a guy running on, and the guy on the field trying to figure out which one is supposed to come out and that kind of thing. Something else. We had 3 delay of game penalties last week.
Yep.
Granted, I know the actual play clock on the stadium wasn't working, but you have people designated. I'm sure you have someone on staff designated to keep up with the play clock, and still there's an internal clock in your head. You can't get 3 delay of game penalties in the same game.
Nah,
But
that's
it takes them so long to get their play in.
and you have 40 seconds to get the plays in.
And it takes forever. I thought it was 25. At least the clock starts at 25 typically. But
it might be 25. I think I thought like it might.
Yeah, but nevertheless, it takes them so long to get a play. And I remember a couple of weeks ago when we got down by 2 touchdowns against Mount Pleasant, and they should have been trying to run no huddle, run tempo, because like 4 or 5 minutes left. You were down by 2 touchdowns, and they were taking their sweet time and taking forever still to get a play, and they don't have any kind of tempo or anything when needed. Mm-hmm. And it makes me wonder, like, what's going on? You're at the halfway point of the season now, going into the second half of the season. Why are we still having these issues this deep?
That's what I'm trying to figure out too. And like you said, man, those things, personnel groupings, getting set for the plays, that stuff should have been fixed 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
It was in the building. Gilbert Alfonso. What's up, Gilbert Alfonso?
Shout out. What's going on? Alfonso. Is that the Gilbert I know?
That's the Gilbert we know. That is the Gilbert we know. The personnel groupings, that stuff should have been fixed 3 weeks ago.
I agree.
At least by week 2. That should have been fixed. The getting these plays in, that should be, you should be on it. The quicker you get at that ball, that gives the defense less time to set up. You give them more time to set up, get the breath, and that's what happens. The offense, they move with no purpose. They move with no what's the word I'm looking for?
No tempo. No urgency.
No tempo.
No urgency. I got what you're saying.
Yeah, like with the athletes you got, you should be running 3 or 4 plays before you even get a play in. Like the athletic, with the athletic talent that you have, if you had the right coordinator, or what I say, if you could get that going quicker, you had these defenses out guard a lot more. Like those teams would be like, oh my god, we can't sub in and out fast enough because they line it back up.
Well, if you had enough coaches and actually had a full staff,
yeah.
And because the thing about it, of your assistant coaches, you know that each one have to deal with multiple personnel groups.
He said that roughing the kicker call.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough one. When we forced the punt, we went for the block punt. Yeah, he grazed him, but that's one where the official had. That was incidental contact. He could have had some grace on that.
That phantom.
I'm not gonna call it phantom, but to me it was ticky tack. That hurt like crazy because you about to get him off field, get good field position. Yeah, that did hurt. So I mean, I feel like this. We still had multiple opportunities to win this game. The game should have been a game that we should have blown open from the get-go if we would have played right. But back to the point I was making, man. With when you don't have a full staff, you only got 6 assistant coaches, and I know I'm beating the dead horse, but I'm going to keep beating that horse until somebody hears me.
Right.
To those who are in charge, administration, athletic department, whoever's in charge of that, tell me what sense does it make to take away 4 coaching positions from a man's staff and expect him to succeed? That makes me wonder, do you want them to win?
That's a good question.
How can you tell me that makes sense? Tell me how that makes sense. Any other coach has been allowed to have a full staff. Granted, yes, he is responsible for winning with what he has. I understand that. But when you take away 4 paid coaching positions from a staff, and you make a man have to prepare a team of 45 to 48 young men with only 6 coaches, and then the rest of them are volunteers, which I don't even see that many volunteers. I think the only volunteers are offensive line coach, who should be a paid offensive line coach because he's actually one of the ones that knows what he's doing. When you have that, how do you expect the team to succeed? How can because I don't even put this all on these kids, because these kids are not getting adequate coaching. And like I said, Coach Jackson even told us that before the season started. When he interviewed that exclusive interview with us, he said, when you don't have many paid coaches and you're relying on volunteers, you don't get quality coaching. And like you said, and he even said that. If you go back and watch that, we're at 385 views on that, get it to 400. If you go back and watch that, he said that. And he also said that he wasn't knocking anyone who volunteers to coach. He's just saying that you don't get overall quality when you're relying on volunteers.
That's true.
And that's showing itself to be true.
Yes, at this point, yeah, because I mean, I'm put it like this. I'm not going to, minus the offensive line. I don't know if the DB coach is paid or not, but
Oh, you going there?
I'm going there. And I like the guy. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a good
nice.
guy.
He's a nice dude.
He's a
We met
good
him
guy.
about a few weeks ago, about a month
He's
ago
a
now.
good guy. It's I don't know, man. It's a communication thing with how the coverage works or how they cover the players. It's I don't know.
We let people get past our secondary way too often.
Too
It's
much, man.
fortunately we haven't played that many pass heavy teams, but when teams do throw the ball, for whatever reason, those receivers end up getting behind the DBs. And the
Yeah,
thing about it, we have DBs that have good speed. It's not an issue of speed. There have been sometimes they're not even getting by them. There's sometimes I've seen them running stride for stride with them. They're just not making a play on the ball.
right.
And a lot of times they're not even turning around to locate the ball, which makes me wonder: are they being taught to turn around and locate?
Well, you're supposed to. That's rule. That's rule. Like you're supposed to.
And like I've seen times where the ball is coming near our sideline, and nobody from the sideline is even yelling to the corner, "Hey, turn around! It's coming your way."
Yeah, it's no rule against that. You can definitely holler at the person. Hey,
Yeah.
there's
So
ball.
it makes me wonder: are they even being? Is that even a point of emphasis?
Uh,
Because usually, for something that when for the same bad habits to continue 6 games into the season, that's more. There are only 10 games in the season, so you're talking about 60% of your games. You've played 60% of your season so far, and you're still seeing some of the same errors that you see in week one.
right.
That's not acceptable.
Not at all. It's really
And
not.
and I'll even say this, and this is not hyperbole at all. But
Mm-hmm.
if those same bad habits continue and they're not rectified, we run the danger of not winning another game this year. I'll say that again. If those bad habits are not rectified, we run the danger of not winning another game this year. Because it doesn't matter how good or how bad the opponent is, if we're not doing what we're supposed to do, then we're going to get the same results.
Right. Absolutely. And with those results, man, with a team like this is my humble estimation. This team shouldn't be no record wise should be at the end of the year 8-2.
I agree.
8-2. Yeah,
I
maybe
agree.
9-1.
I thought talent wise, this was an 8-2 type talent, 7-3 at worst, but 8-2 type talent. And you know what? By having so many sophomores starting a varsity, I'll take 6-4, given it's such a young team.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
what I'm afraid of, if we don't get our stuff together, it'll be another 3-7, just like last year.
yeah. Uh, and with the teams in this conference, these teams ain't got the record wise. Everybody's pretty except Monroe.
To me, Anson, Forest Hill, Parkwood, and West Stanley are all jumbled up about the same. As far as I think Monroe is a little bit better than the rest, but I think Anson, Parkwood, and Forest Hill are about the same. I think West Stanley talent wise a little bit less, but if we don't play right, they could beat us the way Mount Pleasant did. And
Yep.
I think that we could easily, if we play to our capabilities, we have the capability to easily go 3-1 in conference. And
Yep.
I'm not saying that we can't win tomorrow night, but we got to play better than we've been playing. But realistically speaking, on a probability standpoint, I think we have a great chance to go 3-1 if we get to playing clean football.
I think so.
That would put you 6-4 in the playoffs. But before we can worry about that, we got to clean up our bad habits.
Yep.
And we got a tall order to try to win tomorrow. But I don't see why you can't.
I'm gonna start it with you because you predict the scores for tomorrow night, and I'm gonna let you go first if
You want me to tell the truth?
that's what we're here for.
Geez, I'm gonna say Monroe 28, Anson 6.
Okay. I look at it this way. Ever since I've beaten the dead horse, ever since Almar up to now, defense has been playing good. I give defense credit because
Defense has never been the problem. At least the front seven has never been a problem. We'll say that.
yeah. But I put it like this: if you keep that defense on the field longer than you should against this team, it's not gonna be pretty. And I'm gonna probably go with a score of 42-0.
Woo. I'm gonna change mine. I said 28-6. I'm gonna say we're gonna make the extra point, 28-7.
Okay. And I got 42-0. Monroe.
I think it'll be a game that'll be something like at halftime it'll be close, like 14-7 or something like that.
Yeah.
But the defense get worn out late in the game. And going into the fourth quarter, we'll be down like 21-7. And then Monroe probably score another touchdown. I think our defense will keep them from scoring 40. But I think Gill said 55-13. Good God in heaven.
If I put like they can, but if they on the field way longer than they need to be and the offense can't get nothing going, then I see 40. That's how I look at it.
And you know what? I want to be wrong. So if something comes out differently, we come out winning tomorrow, I don't want to hear no one say, "Oh, you see, you were hating it." This is no. I want to be wrong.
I do too.
I want to be wrong. I hope like crazy that I'm wrong.
I hope I am. I hope I'm
I
very
want
wrong.
to be wrong. I want you to hear me say this. Please prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. I'm begging to be wrong. I'm praying that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that I'm wrong.
I do too. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But if I'm right, everything I've been talking up here has probably been fact.
I don't want to be right.
Not in this situation. I don't.
If Anson losing this game is wrong, then I don't want to be right.
But if I'm calling it honestly, that's what I see.
But this is just based on what I've seen the last 3 weeks.
Yep. And
but
it's
I
not
hope I'm wrong.
Them. It's just what you see is what you get.
Coach Jackson and the squad, please prove us wrong. I hope somebody's watching this. I want them to be motivated by us predicting them to lose.
Yeah. That's what I want.
I want to win.
Absolutely.
Like, make me wrong. You will make me a happy man if I turn out wrong tomorrow. If I end up wrong tomorrow, I'll be one happy man.
I will be too.
I'll be driving down Roosevelt Boulevard with a smile on my face.
Absolutely.
I'll be riding down Sunset with the sunshine on my face.
Prove me wrong. But
please prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
That's all I ask of you.
Yeah, prove me wrong, because I won't. Don't get it granted. Like, I won't biasly. Yes, I want to say Anson is going to win, but the honest person in me, if we keep playing like we playing, this is what's going to happen.
If Lightning Gaddy was alive today, he would say this game would be a toss-up.
He would.
He wouldn't say we win.
Nah, he'll say it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
And it's not knocking nobody. I'm just saying what I see is what I predict. That's just what it is. But prove me wrong.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah. I'm like, if you can prove me wrong, I'll come back on air next week and say I'm sorry.
Yep.
Good job.
I will see. I'll be in the building tomorrow. I'll be down there at Monroe High School. Yes, down there in that beautiful stadium, watching the boys take the turf field, and hopefully they'll prove us wrong.
I hope they prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's all I want you to do. Prove me wrong. If you can't,
tomorrow night, and then Saturday night, if that game's still on, my Charlotte 49ers will take the field against the UTEP Miners.
Oh yeah,
We have the worst defense in the country at Charlotte, so I'm never gonna predict us to win until I see something out of the defense.
We're gonna get into our usual thing for the week. The top 25 predictions.
And let's roll.
Let's roll, baby. Let's go ahead and get it started. We're gonna start. We're gonna start right here, which is tomorrow. Well, it's tomorrow night's game. Number 19 BYU versus Utah State.
BYU in a blowout. They used to be a rivalry at one point, but BYU in a blowout.
Okay. Number 15 Washington at UCLA.
I'm going with Washington.
All right, let's get into Saturday slate. Number 1 Georgia at Missouri. Mizzou.
Georgia.
Number 2.
Even though Kent State, Georgia kind of played down to Kent State, and Kent State kind of hung around for a little while in that game.
They did.
Georgia ended up winning the game comfortably, but Kent State hung around for a little while.
Here's my this is gonna be one of my upsets, because there's a couple of them I'm looking at. Number 2 Alabama at number 20 Arkansas.
Maybe. I'm going with Alabama, but I mean that's a type game where maybe Arkansas capture lightning in the bottle. Some things to break right for them, but I'm going with Alabama. I'm going Alabama. I thought Texas should have had the chance to do that earlier.
Yeah.
I still feel like Alabama's going to win that game by a couple touchdowns. I think it'll be a close game for 3 quarters, but I think at the end, Alabama will find a way to make plays and win by a couple scores.
Okay. I'm probably going to take Alabama now and then a close one. 20, I say 28-42.
Well, you got them giving up 28 points?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I got to give them up 28. Whether it might be dead minutes, but they might be giving up 28.
Okay, I got you. A couple garbage time scores.
Yeah, that's close enough. Number 3, Ohio State versus Rutgers.
I think Ohio State beats the Rutgers. Scarlet Knights of Rutgers.
Number 4, Michigan at Iowa.
That's tricky. Is that a nighttime game? What time is the game?
That's a 12 o'clock game.
Oh, if it was a nighttime game, I'd pick Iowa in the upset. But since it's a 12 o'clock game,
Yeah.
I'm going to say Michigan squeeze out a close one.
And a true fact, a lot of people don't know, Michigan does not play a lot of nighttime games.
True.
That is a fact.
True. But that game is that game at Iowa?
Yeah, that's at Iowa.
That's what I'm saying. Iowa's usually tough at nighttime. When they do those blackouts and stuff like that, they kind of had that whole Pittsburgh Steelers vibe going. If it had been a night game, I'd have picked Iowa in the upset. But by being a day game, I'm going to say Michigan 24-20.
Here's my upset pick. You ready for this one, Nancy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Number 5, Clemson versus number 10, NC State.
Yeah, you picked upset last week too with Wake Forest, and that didn't go the way you expected it.
I'm gonna take NC State this week.
I'm gonna take Clemson by 3 touchdowns.
Ooh. You got 3?
Yeah, I think Clemson win the game by 3 touchdowns.
I got NC State by a touchdown.
I'm saying Clemson wins that game 35-17. They're going to be up like 35-3, but State going to get a couple of or like 35-10, but State going to get like a backdoor touchdown and make it 35-17. Or it's going to be one of the games where State like Clemson's up like 28-3 or something like that, but the final score will be like 35-17 after you kind of let a couple of touchdowns slip up late in the game.
Okay. Number 6, USC, Southern California.
Versus, yeah, you got to explain.
Versus Arizona State.
Arizona State's a train wreck. F Arizona State for what they did to Herm Edwards. Not only what they did to him, they leaked information on them to opponents.
Chill Town, what's up, baby?
What's up, Chill Town? Arizona State's administration, they leaked information out to Arizona State's opponents just so they can get Herm fired, to cause them to lose games. F Arizona State. So I hope USC beat the crap out of them. And I think USC is going to blow them out like Utah did last week.
All right, here's another one. Number 7, Kentucky at 14, Ole Miss. That's it.
I guess Ole Miss.
I'm gonna take Kentucky.
That's a coin flip.
Yeah,
I'm picking Ole Miss, and you picking Kentucky. That's a 50-50 game. That can go either way.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Kentucky though.
Not good. I'm not knocking it.
Number 9, Oklahoma State versus number 16, Baylor.
I'm going with Oklahoma State. On this weekend to be the 15-year anniversary since Mike Gundy did his come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. So or that might have been last week, the 15-year anniversary, but
come at me.
I'm going with Coach Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys over
the Baylor Bears.
Over the Baylor Bears, yeah.
We got number 11, Penn State at Northwestern.
Penn State. Northwestern's bad.
All time.
They can't score.
Number 12, Utah versus Oregon State.
Where?
Oregon State.
I got Utah squeaking it by.
Okay. Here's one of those games that can get tricky. Number 13, Oregon versus Stanford.
At Stanford?
Yep.
I still think Oregon win, but Stanford's going to try to make that game muddy and try to get physical and stuff, but I still think Oregon still should have too many athletes to lose to Stanford. David Shaw got to watch out, man. The last few years, he hasn't really done anything since Hogan and all them guys been going for Stanford. They hadn't been that good. He got to watch out.
Yeah. The hot seat is on. Where we at? Stanford. Okay, number 17, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State.
F Texas A&M. I'm going Mississippi State.
Oh, here we go. Oklahoma 18 at TCU.
I'm going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost to K-State last week. I don't think they're going to lose back-to-back games.
Number 21, Minnesota versus Purdue.
Grab a quarter and flip it. I'm gonna say Minnesota, but that'll be one of them 13-10 games, and nobody cares who wins it.
Here's a good one, the 3:30 game. Number 22, Wake Forest at number 23, Florida State.
Woo! Is Florida State back? Last year, Wake Forest beat Florida State 35-14 up in Winston-Salem. They're going down to Tallahassee. First of all, is the game even going to be played?
That's a good question. I do not know at this point. I don't know if they moved it up, but right now it's still slated at 3:30 Saturday.
I'm going with Wake Forest in a nail biter, like 27-24.
I'm gonna be the odd man out. I'm gonna take Florida State by a touchdown.
That might happen. To me, that's a coin flip one too.
Yeah. Here's another, might be another decent one. Pitt at Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech just fired their coach and athletic director. Pitt wins that. Okay. They fired their coach and their AD this week.
And now the new number 25 team in the nation, Kansas State versus Texas Tech.
I guess K-State win that game.
I want to get into the Miami game because I think
Miami versus Middle Tennessee.
We both called Miami.
I watched that game.
I was shocked.
I watched the whole game.
I was actually shocked.
Yeah, I watched that game on the ACC network.
I mean,
Miami ought to be ashamed of themselves.
They ought to be.
The thing about it, Middle Tennessee didn't do anything tricky. They just lined up and beat them. I watched the game. It wasn't anything like they weren't running no double reverse halfback option passes. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't any kind of flea flickers. They just came out there, ran their offense, and beat them.
Yeah, the one play I was kind of like, wow. I think they was on like the 1 and the 2 yard line and scored 98 yards.
Yeah, when dude took the deep shot downfield, I was watching that.
Yeah,
and Middle Tennessee's defensive line held their own against Miami's offensive line, especially down in the red zone. They actually held their own weight against them.
Yeah, they did.
Miami's offensive line got pushed around by Middle Tennessee's defensive line.
Absolutely.
And Miami switched quarterbacks in the game, but it was too late by the time they switched.
And I wanted to get into another thing. I don't know, they might be Division III, but Jesus Christ, whoever that team was that got 98 dropped on their head.
Yeah, when Stephen F. Austin's FCS, but the team that beat him, the team that they beat like that, I don't know if they're Division III or NAIA or what.
I can't remember the name of the team. It was.
I can't either.
All I know is it was 98 up there, and I was like, "That's got to be an error." They might have somebody at ESPN playing, but nah,
man,
that was for real. Like I don't know what they.
I wanted to see what the scoreboard do if they'd have scored another touchdown.
Huh?
I wanted to see what the scoreboard would be able to capture had they scored another touchdown.
Probably been like, like 4 to.
Yeah, like when you're trying to get to 100. Like, will the scoreboard even go over 100?
If they got those, I don't know. That's a good question. Well, if it's that digital board, yeah, but if it's the lights, nah. Because the lights gonna start back at 0. So they would have to put like 0-4.
And when you get beat 98-0, man, that's an embarrassment.
Just get back on the bus. No press conference. No.
What you gonna say at the press conference? I mean,
we lost.
Got beat 98-0.
We took loss. This was a tough one.
Back in 1997, Kannapolis beat Northwest Cabarrus
97-0.
97-0, sure did.
Yep. And if I'm
And
not mistaken, that might have been a state record.
might have been Forest Hill beat Monroe like 93-0 back in like the early 90s or something like that. And
Yep.
Mount Pleasant beat Central Academy, or y'all call them Cata, but Mount Pleasant beat Central Academy 96-0 back like in 07. I'm trying to think of some more that got that bad.
They
That's
can
all
run
I
the
can
clock
think of
fast.
at the moment with
Yeah.
the scores in the 90s. I
They,
remember when the Forest Hill won their game 93-0, they got mad at the coach. That's where I get the story from. He said they had 11 men on the field and we had 11. He said we didn't cheat.
no, they didn't cheat.
And I remember when they asked Coach Bruce Harden, who used to coach Canapolis, when they beat Northwest Cabarrus 97-0, he said, "Ain't my job to stop my kids from scoring."
He ain't lying. He's
He
out
said,
on
he said, I can't tell my kids. He said, I'm not going to tell my kids to quit playing. Steve Spurrier used to say that one time when someone accused him of running up the score. He said, it's not my job to stop my offense from scoring. He said it's their defense's job.
Absolutely. It really is.
Hey, I'm a type dude. I don't have no problem with it. Just like Mount Pleasant. That last touchdown they scored on us, they could have kneeled the ball down. We didn't. It was only 30 seconds, so they could have kneeled the ball down and ran the clock out. They opted to score a touchdown. You know who should be most embarrassed? We should be, because we're the ones that let them score.
Right.
And we didn't want them to do that. You know what we should have done? We should have stopped them.
In the words of Cam Newton, if you don't want me to score, stop me.
That's all we had to do, tackle somebody and stop them. So when a team runs up scoring somebody, if you get the score run up on you, don't get mad at the other coach running the score on you. You ought to be mad at your dang on defense for letting it happen.
Absolutely.
I remember that coach. It was coaching Fayetteville in one of those schools in Fayetteville, who he got fired for running up the score on somebody one time. They dropped like 70 on somebody. No, he got suspended. They suspended him because he dropped like 70-something points on somebody one time, and they suspended him. I'm like,
why?
Because the other team couldn't stop his team from scoring, he gets punished? What society are we living in, man? I remember when Central Cabarrus, the softball coach, got fired because they beat someone 55-0. Yeah, softball game. They beat them 55-0, and they fired the coach because of it. I'm like, because she won, she dominated in winning, so she got fired? Since when has winning become a bad thing, man?
I don't know. I guess when you score,
and they're talking about poor sportsmanship. I'm like, sports is supposed to be prepared. These extracurricular activities, things they go through in school, are supposed to prepare these kids for life in the real world.
Yep, things like that happen in the real world. You get
the real world does not have a mercy rule.
Nope. Clock.
The real world does not have a continuous clock when you start to get beat down.
Nope.
And the real world will not take a knee on you.
Nope.
They might take a knee on your throat, George Floyd. They might take a knee on your throat.
They will.
But they won't take a knee down for mercy.
Nope. Why would they?
There is no mercy rule in the real world. There is no easy button like the commercial suggests.
That is so much that mercy rule. I think honestly, I want to say it's a rule, but it's really like an unwritten rule. It's not. The coaches have to agree upon that situation. I think.
Well, now with the football, what they do now, once the margin becomes 42 points, they run a continuous clock no matter what.
Well, I mean, if they scored 96 in the running clock, good for them. Because guess what?
Yeah, now at the time that 96, the clock, they didn't do the running clock thing, but then like they first implemented the running clock thing like around 07, and back then I remember Ants was playing Hickory Ridge one time, and we were up 42-0 at halftime, and back then the coach used to have to come up to the other coach and ask them like, hey, can you do it? I don't know how embarrassing it got to be. You got to go up to the coach and beat the crap out of him and say, hey, can you run a continuous clock? And if both coaches agree to it, then they would do it.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, they changed the rule to where once you have a 42-point margin, they automatically do the continuous clock no matter what.
Hey, look, if that team scored 98, and I'm pretty sure they had a continuous clock. So
I remember Albemarle beat Chatham Central like 84-0 back like a 02 or 03.
2-3, yeah. They ran the state title runs.
When Coach Jack Gaster. Speaking of Albemarle, man, I know they long for those days now.
Yeah, they'll be okay. They should win the conference anyway.
Well, I mean, they got to play the games, but we'll see.
They got to play the games. Let's get into some NFL.
All right,
we got a slate of NFL games too for the week. We're gonna start off with tomorrow night's game: Dolphins and Bengals.
Where?
It is going to be in Cincinnati.
They got a bad offensive line in Cincinnati, and Miami has a good defensive front. I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins.
Vikings versus the Saints.
I'm rooting for the Vikings, so I'm gonna pick the Vikings.
We got Seahawks versus the Lions.
You know what? I'm watching this Geno Smith renaissance has been wonderful to watch. I'm picking Geno Smith and the Seahawks to win.
And by the way, Geno, he's actually been playing pretty good. Record
Playing
shows,
very well. I agree.
yeah, he's been playing very well. And if not for the opposite quarterback, I don't know what's going on over there in Denver, but
maybe we're seeing that he was a product of maybe a good situation around him and good coaching and stuff.
That could be true. Where we at? Okay, Jets and Steelers.
I guess the Steelers.
Okay. Where we at? Bears and Giants.
I don't know. Where the game going to play that?
It's gonna be played at MetLife.
That's going to be an ugly game. I think that's going to be an ugly game between two teams that aren't that good. I think the Giants squeak it out like 16-13.
Okay. Titans versus Colts.
It's a division game, so that's I'm gonna go with the Titans.
Okay. The 1-1-1 Colts.
Matty Ice and the Colts. I'm going with Derrick Henry and the Titans. Oh no, that's gonna be a running back battle.
Yeah, that definitely is.
That means that game ain't gonna last that long. It's gonna be a bunch of running. Like I said, that's gonna be one of them 17-13 type games.
As long as they keep the ball out of Tannehill's position.
Oh,
you know. Chargers and Texans.
I want Lovie Smith to get his first win, but I'm not a fool. I'm going with I was about to say San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. Go Chargers.
I'm gonna take the Texans.
I hope you're right.
I'm gonna take the Texans.
I hope you're right.
Browns and Vikings. I meant Browns and Falcons. I'm sorry.
I'm rooting for the Browns. I'm going with the Browns, and prayers up to Myles Garrett. He was in a car wreck earlier this week. Suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Good, they were non-life-threatening injuries, but I don't know if he's playing or not. I would imagine that he's not. So, but glad Myles Garrett is going to be okay. Going with the Browns on that.
All right. Dallas's team versus Washington's Commanders.
Location?
Jerry World.
Dak's talking about he might come back. Is that for this game?
The timeline said, yeah, this would be the game that he would come back. But
if he comes back, just because of what's going on, they're going to F around and lose. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, they should have stuck with Russ. I don't know. Don't care. F them both. But I'm going to I'm going to say Dallas, but I don't really care.
Okay. I'm probably going to take the Commanders in that one. If Dak starts. If not, then I don't care either. Jaguars and Eagles.
Going with the Eagles, but Doug Peterson, the Eagles' former coach, so far got Jaguars looking much improved, and they're looking like a team that's moving along and propelling quicker than people thought they would. So kudos to Coach Doug Peterson, but I'm going with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles in this game.
And by the way, Jalen Hurts has just been
playing very well. Shows that Nick Saban didn't know how to use him down there at Alabama.
There you go.
He didn't want to know how to use them, but I won't get into that
today. Yeah, I already know. He's not an Alabama quarterback.
No.
Inside joke. Bills versus Ravens.
That's a rematch of the AFC divisional playoff game. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. Cardinals and Panthers. My man.
Going to Carolina Panthers.
Broncos versus Raiders. The Raiders.
That's an AFC West rivalry. Where's this game going to play? Is it going to play in Vegas or is it going to be played in Denver?
Vegas.
The Raiders got to get their first win sooner or later. I'm going to say the Raiders get their first win. Even though Josh McDaniels, I'm glad they're off to a bad start, but I picked the Raiders to win this one to get their first win.
I got the Raiders winning this one.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. I got them winning this one simply because Denver's offense is poor compared
Piss
to
poor. Wow.
yeah, very poor. Man, I don't even want to think about this game. Patriots and Packers.
Where?
Green Bay.
I think the Packers win, but I think the game gonna be closer than you think. Is Jones even playing? I know you effed his ankle up.
No, he's out for a few weeks.
But they talking about severe ankle sprain, so it might be a lot longer than that.
Yeah, they didn't put a specific
have you
week.
heard the rumors that I heard?
No, I ain't hear those rumors. Would you like to break it on the show? Because I've he's back.
No, he ain't signed with him, but there's speculation that they may be considering bringing him in. That New England there's speculation that New England may consider bringing him back. That's nothing official, but that's been like swirling around.
If I was him, I wouldn't. That's just my opinion. And
yeah, but I mean, if he wants to play,
yeah, if he wants to play, he wants to play. But
he has familiarity with the system already. But Patricia doesn't know what he's. I don't know why you got Patricia running offense.
He should be running defense, in my opinion.
I wouldn't want to go there either, especially even after how they did him. But like, what did Hunter Hirschfeld say? You have to do what's best for business.
That's right. Yeah, do what's best for business.
The words of Triple H.
I don't know, man. I hope if we do get him back, that'd be good. That's
if we get him back, because who's playing Hoyer?
Oh, God. More than likely, him or Stidham.
Oh, y'all still got Stidham?
I'm pretty sure Stidham's still there.
If you got Stidham, you don't have a chance. You lose every game. The Jones is out. Jones ain't all that, but he's better than Stidham.
Yeah, he's way better than Stidham. That I can't argue that. He's better than Stidham.
Stidham wasn't even that good at Oregon, but not Oregon, at Auburn. When Stidham was at Auburn, they hyped him up. But I didn't see it. I never saw it even when he was at Auburn. I never thought he was an NFL worthy quarterback or worthy of being drafted, and I didn't see how he was like considered like for all SEC and stuff when he was at Auburn. Because Auburn's offense was stagnant when he was there too, but they kept hyping him up. Kind of like Texas A&M when Kellen Mond was there, they kept hyping him up, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Brad Kaya in Miami, same type of thing.
I'm gonna take Green Bay, and then
I think Green Bay wins that game too, like 21-3 or something like that.
And the only reason I'm taking Green Bay is because of the quarterback situation right now, and we're in a disarray of.
Even if Jones was playing, I think Green Bay would win that game. But still, I got your point.
At this point, it is what it is. We lose. I guess we're getting ready for the draft. we're getting ready. You know
how I feel about the Lakers. So.
Yeah, I understand.
I wish worst of luck. So.
Super Bowl rematch: Chiefs versus Buccaneers.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
Likewise. Offense more explosive. And we got the Monday night game, which will be Los Angeles Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers.
Where the game going to play that?
I was about to say Candlestick, but Levi Stadium.
Yeah, that Candlestick got raggedy. At the stick. I say the 49ers capture lightning in the bottle when they game.
Yeah, I got 49ers.
When I was a kid, I used to like the 49ers when I was growing up. So.
I like Jerry Rice. And I like Steve Young, too.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to love the 49ers. My Uncle Smooth loved the 49ers, too. So, man, I still got a soft spot for the 49ers. I'm a Panthers fan, but I still got a soft spot for the 49ers.
49ers ain't never did nothing wrong to nobody. No. They were the formula of winning.
Yeah, under late great Bill Walsh and then later on George Seifert.
Yeah, that George Seifert. I ain't want to talk about.
Yeah, not the George. We ain't talking about Carolina.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna say on that. That was Chris Weekey's team that year.
Well, at that point, man, they didn't give him nothing to work with. I think at that point, at his age and at the stage he was in, he was just picking up a check.
Yeah.
That was just for the check.
At that point, it was.
Yeah, he was just at that point he was just getting a check. That was just for the money.
Because they did end up drafting number one. They did get number one pick.
They got number 2 pick because Texas. They brought in the expansion using Texas, so we got number 2 pick. And we picked Julius Peppers, defensive end out of the University of North Carolina.
Absolutely, 2-sport athlete that could have played them both. NBA, and
played in the Final Four, the starting Final Four for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
yes, he did.
Ronald Curry
1998.
was a two-sport athlete with the
Yep, because he was a quarterback, wasn't a wide receiver.
quarterback and a point guard.
Yep.
He played wide receiver in the NFL.
Yep, with the Raiders.
The Raiders. Yep.
The Raiders. He was number 13.
Out of Hampton, Virginia.
Yep. That's what they call the quarterback, the good quarterbacks domain.
I guess. Well, they got a lot of athletes in Taiwan anyway. Virginia Tech is that area like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Honestly, you think about it, Virginia had a lot of.
Yeah, you know, Allen Iverson from Hampton.
Yeah.
He played. He was a quarterback in high school too. A very good quarterback.
Yeah, won a state title too.
Yep.
Or region title, state title, whatever they call it. Played basketball. Probably could have, well, you know, with his height. But, I mean, in this day's game, you got short quarterbacks. So,
I mean, he could have played at least college ball with height. I mean, Charlie Ward, no, them was 6'1". And these days, they don't like Russell Wilson, the guy with the Cardinals.
Kyler Murray.
But these days, that's not as big of a deal.
Yeah, because they none of them well, Kyler Murray, I think he's actually shorter than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he's 5'10".
And Russell ain't even. I think he's 5'11", maybe.
Yeah, they list him at 5'11". Yeah,
he may be 5'10" too, but
Drew Brees only like 6 feet tall. Michael Vick was only 6 feet tall.
Yeah, Vick had that. I don't know. Vick was a lot different.
Yeah, Vick was good. They never had no weapons around him in Atlanta. And then when he went to prison for them 2 seasons, that kind of threw things off. But they had a good year when he came back to Philadelphia. Then after that, they didn't have no line and stuff. And Vick wasn't. I never thought coaching utilized Vick to his best.
Yeah, I don't think so. The only weapons he had in Atlanta was Algie.
Tight end Algie Crumpler, yeah.
Algie and was Doc. Yeah, TJ Dockett was there then too.
Duckett was running back. Yeah, he had work done. They called him DVD. With Dunn, Vick, and Duckett. DVD. What they call him?
DVD. Dunn, Vick, Dockett. But they had a good team. They got to the NFC.
They got to the NFC Championship game 1 year.
Yeah, against the Eagles team that took forever to cross the threshold.
Huh?
Against the Eagles team that took forever to cross the threshold.
Yeah, the Eagles went to Super Bowl that year.
Finally.
That year that the Panthers beat them, they were heartbroken. They just knew they were going to beat Carolina and get there.
They just thought that.
And when Carolina beat 14-3, Brent Buckner, he was mic'd up, and you could hear him saying, "If you get it right the first time, you ain't got to worry about the third time." I was like, "Oh man!"
And it probably made it worse against it because they was at their house.
Yep.
And they house.
Sure did. 14-3.
Yep. How do you feel about? Well, we already talked about this. Is like beating a dead horse. We seen that somebody this week. I seen it this week. It was ESPN had reported that McNabb was eligible for a Hall of Fame. I think he's finally eligible.
Yeah, he ain't gonna get on first ballot, but he was a 6-time Pro Bowler. Took a team to the 5 NFC Championship appearances and a Super Bowl appearance. I don't see why he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. If Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame, then Jonathan McNabb should be in there.
I don't think he's gonna be first ballot though.
No, I'm not saying first ballot, but I think he's an eventual Hall of Fame. I feel like maybe the third or the fourth try, he'll get in eventually.
Yeah, he won't be Drew P.
He was still one of the top quarterbacks in his era. In the era that he played, he was a top 5 quarterback in his era.
I don't think it'll be Drew Pearson long, but you know.
Well, I could even argue the only reason Drew Pearson's in there because they won Super Bowls. But
yeah.
But if you're gonna look at McNabb during the time that McNabb played in the prime of his career, he was a top 5 quarterback through his prime.
Yeah. There's some players that should be in there. I know they had outside stuff. I was looking at a couple people.
Yeah, but Donovan McNabb ain't got no outside stuff. I mean, he's a good.
No. I was just saying in general that some of these people that got picked over certain people, I get that they had outside issues.
The Hall of Fame those voters is a popularity contest over who they like the most and who they don't.
Yep.
If they don't like you, they're gonna make you wait, like they did T.O. Yep. T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, but they didn't like him because he popped off at the mouth a lot.
But guess who in there for stealing food stamps?
Yeah, he was in there before all that came out.
Yeah, but you know,
Brett Favre, the welfare queen. Like see Brett Favre, welfare queen. The welfare queen. Brett the Hitman Favre, the welfare queen.
There's another one that played for the Washington Redskins that I think that should have been in a long time ago, but I think he did have off the field issues, and
Who
that was Dexter Manley. He should have been in there a while back too.
is he in there now?
No, he's not in there.
Oh well, maybe this is his year.
And he actually, at one point in time, was leading sacks before Bruce Irvin had, I think. And,
You mean Bruce Smith?
I mean Bruce Smith. I'm sorry, Bruce Smith.
Bruce Irvin was a decent player, but that's like a kid.
I mean Bruce Smith. I'm sorry, Bruce Smith. But yeah.
Bruce has played so long. If Derek Thomas wouldn't have got killed, he would probably be the all-time sack leader.
I think he would have too.
Yeah, but got killed. I mean, before his career was over. So
yeah, because let's see. Yeah, and
because Derek Thomas is still like third or fourth still, and his career got cut short.
He didn't play that long. He was from 80.
No, because he got killed.
Yeah, what I'm saying, the span of time.
He played like 11 years or something like that.
Yeah,
and Bruce Smith played longer than that. So
yeah, and LT played probably just as long. I don't know.
LT didn't play all that long. I mean, he played like 12 years, something like that, maybe. LT's last 95 is like his last year. Him and Strahan's rookie year was LT's last year.
Okay, that part I did not know.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's just something. Like you said, it's a popularity contest. Our players that deserve to be in there should be in there.
It's not the basketball Hall of Fame is worse. Basketball Hall of Fame let everybody in.
You know, that's like I said, international quota.
Yeah, but they just let everybody. I mean, come on. When Vlade Divac got in, I was like,
I was just about to say his name.
Come on, man.
I like Lottie. Lottie ain't a bad guy.
Yeah, but Hall of Famers are the best of the best, man. He wasn't even like a top guy when he was in his home country. He wasn't even one of the top guys over there.
He was what, Yugoslavian or?
Yeah, what was then known as Yugoslavia. He's Serbian, but at that time it was Yugoslavia. He wasn't even a star player in Yugoslavia. He was just a role player over there.
Tony Kukoc was the best player out of in that area.
Nah, Drazen Petrovic.
Yeah, there you go, Petrovic. Him too.
Yeah, but he got killed. Drazen Petrovic got killed, but he was the best player over there.
And I'll say this, Lottie, he wasn't even the best player in his position.
No, not even close to
it. He wasn't even top 50.
If Vlade Divac's Hall of Fame, then Eldon Campbell should be a Hall of Fame if Vlade Divac is one.
Number 41.
If Vlade Divac's Hall of Fame, then Eldon Campbell should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. Because that's the same.
You take away the international quota and you take away the international background and you look at Vlade Divac's career versus Eldon Campbell's career, they're almost one and the same.
Lottie got in before.
If Vlade's getting in the Hall of Fame, the Mehmet Okur need to get in the Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
Both of them got one All-Star appearance. So
I know Manute Bol made the Hall of Fame or no?
Hell no. I mean no.
Well, Muggsy Bogues.
No, he was a finalist one time, but no. Muggsy Bogues is not. People in Charlotte get caught up in nostalgia. Muggsy Bogues ain't even remotely close to being a Hall of Famer.
Who else was it? I'm about to say Jeff Hornacek.
Nah, Jeff Hornacek was a good player, but not a Hall of Famer.
Willis Reed, was that one of his name?
Yeah, of course Willis Reed's a Hall of Famer.
Kevin Reed, Kevin Willis. I'm sorry, Kevin
Willis. I know. He played like 22 years. But no, Kevin Willis not a Hall of Famer.
Kevin Willis. I know Dan Marley.
Thunder Dan, he's not a Hall of Famer. I was on an airplane with Thunder Dan one time. That time I had to fly to Phoenix. You know, Thunder Dan lives in Phoenix. And I don't know what he was doing to Charlotte, but we were on the same flight to Phoenix that time.
And
so I got to be on an airplane with Thunder Dan.
If they put Lottie in, they should put Eddie Jones in the Hall of Fame. God, that's how.
You might put everybody in. If Lottie's in there, just make everybody jealous.
Hell, you can put the head coach that used to coach him, Dale.
If you're gonna put Vernon Maxwell in, if you're gonna do that, come on now. Put Otis Thorpe in there if we're gonna go that route.
What was the coach the Lakers had? Dale Harris.
Dale Harris.
You put Dale Harris in there if you want to.
Yeah, you might as well. Didn't let anybody else in.
Because let me tell you something. If anybody in La La Land like Dale Harris, then I'm an alcoholic.
I think Rudy Tomjanovich is in as a player. I could deal with Rudy Tomjanovich being in as a coach, but I think he's in as a player instead of a coach.
Mm. there's so many.
I mean, I don't want to get caught up. I mean, I get caught up talking all night long. Then Chilltown end up on here with us, and we'll be stuck all night, man. I don't want to get into that all night long.
Yeah,
I'm old, man.
We have to make that we'll make that when basketball season.
One of these days, you got to get Chilltown on here with us, and we'll do a debate on Hall of Fame worthiness, like most undeserving Hall of Famers or something like that.
I'll get that list together now. I'll send it to him. If he's still watching, get ready.
Or we could even go on his show and do it. I don't care. I mean, it don't make no difference to me.
Yeah, either or. That's fine. Whatever one works. I've run it by him.
Yo, when D-Ron still gonna he gonna do like a music podcast?
He was. I hadn't talked to him lately. I know he's been doing the school stuff, so
man, D-Ron, we miss you, man.
Yeah, we missed
you're the missing link, man.
We missed the third part of the show, man. We gotta get you back.
CCP is 3 of us. That's why it's 3 letters. C, C, and P. It's 3 letters. D-Ron, where you at, baby? We miss you, man.
We need you back, man.
It's not just the 2 of us. It's 3 of us, man. We're missing the 3rd link. Come on, D-Ron. We need you, man.
We're gonna get him back soon. I feel like he'll be back sooner than later.
We gotta have him, man. We miss his input, man. We gotta have D-Ron, man. Come on home, D-Ron.
Come home, baby. This was for you, man. You gotta come home. But for the show, Ian, I wanna put this out there too. Shout out to Sam Cole for throwing on a great show Saturday with the alumni basketball thing. Great turnout, great crowd. I wasn't present, but I did see a lot of the pictures and stuff, and it looked like there was a good time with no trouble. Everything was smooth as it should be. I think the finals are the week of the wedding.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at your wedding too, so I'm not gonna be at the game. So
yeah, but from what I know, is the class of 11 and 15 versus the class of 16 and 21.
Hey, I hope they have a great turnout again. Speaking of Sam, Sam's a great man, a great public ambassador. So I mean, whatever endeavors he have, I know they're going to be successful because I know the tenacity and the determination he has. He's also family. He married my cousin, so I'm going to show love. Speaking of my cousin, Sam's wife Ashley, who's my cousin, man, she makes incredible T-shirts. If you're looking for T-shirts, whether it's a family reunion, whether it's some kind of event, whether it's a class reunion, whatever, I recommend her highly. She made me 2 Anson County Bearcat T-shirts. I am beyond satisfied with those shirts. Those came out very nice. So if you're looking for any kind of shirts made for any kind of event, I recommend Ashley Cole. Reach out to her. She's on Facebook as Elizabeth Ashley. She's definitely the person for the task.
Absolutely. So if y'all looking for shirts, hit me up. I'll give you the information. We can what the word? Oh, hey, I don't.
Nah, we talked about it last week.
It is what it is at this point with that.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about it. We're not gonna talk about Udoka.
And I want to put this out there in the air because I seen this earlier, and I think this might be another one of those things that may come to fruition. We may have a flag football alumni game coming as well.
Wow.
So
who's gonna be? Man, if we can get some of the heavy hitters.
Yeah. So
can we get Brent the Bruiser Simpson? Can we get Big Game James Kirby? Can we get Big Perm Antoine Marsh?
I don't know, but from the post I seen today, a lot of people are looking for that after this basketball thing. So
can we get
Sam?
Can we get Brandon Ellerby? Can we get the man Stephon Anthony? Who can we get?
So Sam Cole, if you listening, hey man, they love it and they want more.
And can we get a special guest appearance by WWE superstar Montez Ford?
We possibly can work on that. We might.
Kenneth Crawford, where you at, man?
We've been waiting on him.
Kenneth Crawford, where you at, man?
We've been waiting on him.
I know that thing. When you come out to the ring, they say from Chicago, Illinois. I know that's what they say. But last time I checked, you graduated from Massey Senior High School in 2008. You grew up in Morven and Casey's Oldfield.
Absolutely.
Where you at, Kenneth Crawford? The people want to hear from you, man.
We finna get that worked out. We gonna
King
try to
Tez, Kenneth
King
Crawford,
Ted.
KC, whatever you want to go by. The people want to hear from you, man.
We're
The
gonna try
people
to
of
make.
Anson County want to hear from their favorite son.
We want to make that happen. We definitely want to make that happen. But again, like I said, when I seen that, so Sam, I don't know if you've seen it. He probably has seen it, but I think that's gonna be the next thing in the works because they
I'd love to
want
see
to.
that happen, man. And
I, yeah,
and with Sam and the Sand Hill Voter Initiative, I think that would be the perfect platform to implement that. So who knows?
yep,
Maybe whoever wants to do that can maybe get in touch with Sam and the Sand Hill Voter Initiative, and hopefully that can become a reality. And back to you, Kenneth Crawford. We want the smoke, Kenneth Crawford.
we want the smoke, man.
We want the smoke. You can bring Angelo/Gary with you. We'll take them both. You can
Yep,
bring the EST with you. We're cool with that too. But
yes,
but the people are looking to hear from you, Kenneth Crawford.
absolutely. But with that being said, man, we at the hour 15-minute mark. We're going to 16. We're about to get up out of here. This was, like I said, this was an early week live for the because of the inclement weather that's going on. Prayers to all the people in Florida. Hope everybody's safe.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Tony C, man, we hope you all good. He's from the region. He's a member of the Trap House podcast as well. We hope you
Much
are,
love.
and so we keeping you in your prayers. Hope
God be
everything
with you,
goes.
my brother.
So we'll see y'all next week, man. I'll catch you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, man.
And I'll hit you up in a little bit because I got to get the information for what we
Yeah,
talk.
just text it to myself, man.
I got you.
All right,
All right, y'all. We out.
I'll be cool.
Peace.